Right, so today we take to the streets of Monaco for round 6 of Season 3 of F1 2013 Career Mode. This is Monaco, and this is our best chance at getting another race win in this championship. We need to stake our authority in this championship if we want to prove that we are championship contenders, and that starts today. Here we are in practice, just showing off the setup, and I'm going for full qualifying setup. I want to get as high up the field as I can, just so I can get pole, and then pull away and get this win. Here we are in practice. Let's go do a few laps.
Let's get a few laps under our belt.
Alright, so we got first place in practice, 6/10 clear of Lewis Hamilton in second, but more importantly we got a good feel of the car. Now let's head into qualifying. Alright, so here we are in qualifying 1, and the chances of rain for this session are pretty high, 23%. It was originally about 79%, so you can't really take that for granted too much. So we might see a bit of rain, maybe late in this session. We'll have to wait and see. And going out on a set of prime tyres, we're hoping to get through to qualifying 3 with just one set of prime tyres, so I can have a good bank of tyres for the race and qualifying 3. So coming through the no-wheel chicane now on our very first lap, and we've hit a fairly solid bank of laps so far. I'm just aiming to do just one lap in this session to get me through to qualifying 2, because we did show a lot of pace in practice, and I hope that can continue on into qualifying, hopefully, fingers crossed. Coming through Rascas now in the final corner, and we haven't made any major mistakes yet, so this lap should be good enough to get us through to qualifying 2. A lap in standard, and we set a 1:13.3, and that should be good enough to get us into Q2, should be enough to get us solidly inside the top 10, and we'll retire on that. And we ended up in P1 as the rain did come down later on in that session, so we might see a wet qualifying too. We'll have to wait and see on that, but early signs of the weekend, and we're looking good so far. And Valtteri Bottas, John-Eric Vergne, the big names to miss out in qualifying 1. So heading into Q2, and it looks like the track is actually dry, so that's very surprising. And here we go, setting off for our first lap in Q2, and we're using the same set of tyres that we used in Q1. And the track is quite wet. It's not wet enough for intermediate tyres as of yet, but the track condition is diminishing. The rain is coming down ever so slightly, and the track condition is pretty average at this stage. It does feel pretty weird to drive on at this stage, so the track is only going to get worse from here. So I made a big effort to set this lap early on in the session. I'm probably going to be the first one to set a time, and yes, I am. I set a 1:14.9, which is absolute crap, but that was pretty much the best lap I could manage, and we finished up the session in position 4. So a fairly good outing in this session, despite the tricky conditions. The track was getting a lot worse, especially after I set my lap time. I wasn't able to improve, but it was very surprising how the AI were still able to go faster than me despite setting their lap times after me. But heading into Q3 now, and it looks like we've got a wet session or intermediate conditions for this last qualifying session, so that's going to make things very interesting for the battle for pole position. And to be honest, I really don't fear my chances in intermediate conditions. We had similar conditions in a race earlier on in the season, and the car was absolute crap. It just seems that this Force India doesn't have the same mechanical grip or aerodynamic performance to save us compared to the rest of the field. So I'm really not expecting any fireworks in this final session, unfortunately, but I'm going to try and get up as high as I can in this qualifying session, because Monaco, as you guys know, track position is absolutely key in getting a good result around this track. But after setting 4 lap times, we're only in 8th place at the moment, so I'm going to come in, put on a new set of intermediate tyres, reduce the fuel load a little bit, and then head out for maybe 1, maybe 2 qualifying laps at the very end of this session. So I'm hoping that the track conditions sort of improve a little bit. It doesn't really look like they've improved all that much, but hopefully the fresh rubber can provide some kind of grip benefit, as it does in real life Formula 1. You see the intermediate tyres do drop off quite quickly, and that sort of is the case on this game, but we'll have to wait and see if the new grip or the new tyres can really provide some kind of benefit for us. So here we go, our lap is now underway for our final stint of qualifying 3, and we just need to hook together 19 corners, or however many corners there are around this track, hopefully without any mistakes, and we should be able to get a little bit further up the field, fingers crossed. But stringing together a couple of nice corners in this first Sector 1, let's see what it is, and we're purple! We are purple in Sector 1, so this lap time is on. So coming through this middle sector now, and we just need to treat that throttle, that rear end of our car, like there's an egg, and we're trying to balance it, and if it falls off, then we absolutely die. So coming out of the middle sector now, we've treated it fairly nice, so we haven't made any major mistakes, putting it back up into fast to get the most out of this little straight, and then back down to standard for the Nobel chicane. I'm putting it down into standard just to avoid any wheel spin out of the rear tyres, so hopefully that can pay off as we head into the final stanza of this lap. And we need another purple sector. Can we get it? Yes, we do. We're 2 tenths up on Sebastian Vettel's pole time. We're 4.5 tenths up on our best lap time so far in this session. Coming through Rascasse now, we haven't made any major mistakes. This final sector of the lap is fairly good so far. We get a bit of wheel spin coming out of turn of the final corner, coming up to the line. Can we get pole? Yes, we do. We've got pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix, and we are in the box seat to get a race win for the race tomorrow. Wow. What a lap. I can't believe I did that, lads, but there we go. We're starting in P1 for the Monaco Grand Prix.
Great session. You're in pole. Absolutely fantastic. Fantastic drive.
Alright, so there we go. Pole position for the Monaco Grand Prix, and wow, what a lap. I really wasn't expecting that after the struggles we showed early on in Q3. We put on a new set of tyres and we managed to mug the whole field. Pole position. We're in the box seat for the race tomorrow. Let's go to the grid. Alright, so here we are on the grid of the Monaco Grand Prix, here for round 6 of Season 3 of F1 2013 Career Mode. The start is absolutely crucial at this racetrack, and away we go. Looks like we've got off to a fairly decent start, but luckily the run to Turn 1 is a very short one, and we maintain the lead, getting a bit of understeer going through turn 1, and we managed to hold the lead. Fernando Alonso is second, and Mark Webber is third, but he drops down to fourth after Lewis Hamilton takes third place and a podium position. So now that this race start has been done, we just need to pull away and just put in consecutive laps, just get into the groove of Monaco. That really is the secret to this track. You just need to find the groove and just get comfortable, build up your confidence around this track, and you'd be surprised at how fast and consistent you can be. So after 10 laps of racing, we're 10.4 seconds clear of Fernando Alonso, who is holding up Lewis Hamilton, who seems to be a bit faster, but now cutting to lap 16, and we're lapping our first bunch of lap cars involving John Eric Verne, Charles Pic, and possibly another Caterham. I think that's Vandergaard, so we'll be lapping him very soon, probably on the front straight possibly. But the pit strategy today, we are supposed to be stopping on lap 22, and at this stage the tyres are holding out, unlike Spain where we just absolutely fell off the cliff, so we won't need to be doing any bus parking today, fortunately. So we just got to put in a few more consistent and clean laps and get ourselves up to lap 22 before we make our pit stop. And here we are. We've made it on lap 22. Our super soft tyres are still holding out fairly well. They're only orange at this stage. I could probably go on for another 1 or 2 laps, but I really don't want to push it too much. My engineer just said that my tyres are really worn now, so that is the cue to come in for your tyres to be changed. Normally after your engineer says that your tyres are really worn, right after that moment, the tyres go off the cliff. So I really wanted to avoid that. Now we're coming in for our scheduled pit stop. The first time probably this season we've made it to our scheduled pit stop, and I'm so happy about that. The recommended strategy is for us to put on another set of super soft tyres, and then we'll go to about lap 44 or 45 and then put on prime tyres. And I hope that those prime tyres are just as good as these super softs, because these super softs are just amazing for race pace and consistency, despite being the softest tyre in of the tyres that you have available to you on this F1 calendar, I suppose. But anyway, here we are on lap 25. We've gone purple by a couple seconds. We're now lapping Daniel Ricciardo again, as he's yet to make his pit stop, or maybe he just made his pit stop. He's on the prime tyres now, so who knows. But either way, he's holding us up quite a bit. We're now a second down on our previous lap, and that's a bit disappointing. But Lewis Hamilton is a long way behind, so he's not really going to be any threat to us just yet. Yeah, now the lead is about 14.9 seconds as we get around both of the Caterhams. And now we're just trying to extend our lead as much as we can, just pushing and pushing and pushing, because we never know what might happen later on in this race. We might encounter some really bad tyre wear if the primes are really bad. And we're still going purple here, lap 31, now cutting to 34, going up inside of Max Chilton now, and we've now lapped him as we throw up our hand in frustration as he continues to hold us up. But we're just trying to push as hard as we can without, pushing the boundaries too much. And now Lewis Hamilton has found his pace. He's now got up in a second. He's got past Fernando Alonso, is now 18 seconds back from Hamilton. So it looks like Lewis is on the charge. He wants this race win, and he's coming for me.
Your lead over Hamilton's decreasing. He's lapping a whole second faster than you.
And there we go. Now that Hamilton's in the clean air, Hamilton is lapping a whole second lap faster than us, and our tyre wear for this stint has been a little bit worse, possibly because I've been pushing a little bit harder, but the marbles have been a big factor in this race stint. The marble build-up started to happen late on in the first stint, and now I've been sort of driving over the marbles pretty much for the entirety of this second stint, and that was really annoying, and that really made my tyre wear worse. And the marbles will only get worse for this third and final stint of the race, so I'm hoping that this set of tyres can last me till the very end. Traditionally, the super softs are very good. You saw that in Road to Glory at Singapore. The prime tyres, the soft tyres aren't as good, so I'm hoping that these tyres can hold me out just long enough to get me to the end of the race. I have an 8-second buffer over Hamilton, who hasn't stopped yet. It's now out to 11 seconds. So Hamilton is driving really well at this stage, despite being on old tyres. And he's putting himself in a really good position for later on in this race, because he's done so many laps on his tyres. And as we drive over a front wing there, it's all over the place. We now finally get the lead, and Hamilton is only going to come out a couple seconds back. He's only 4 seconds back, and he's now putting in the fastest laps of the race. So I've got to hold this lead for another 20 laps. Hamilton has much fresher tyres, and he's going to be on the back of me very soon. So this is going to be very tough to keep Hamilton behind. I'm going to try and do my best to not make any mistakes, as he's now 6/10 behind me now. And this is going to be an absolute blockbuster of a race to the very end. And I can't pit now because, as you can see on screen now, there is a massive train of cars behind me. And if I pit now, I'm just going to concede almost 10, maybe 15 positions, and that's just not viable at this phase of the race. And it's going to be very hard to re-overtake those guys on a track like Monaco, where overtaking is very tough to execute. So it's going to be very tough to even maintain this lead, as our tyres are absolutely gone off the cliff like 5 laps ago, and Hamilton is now starting to get a bit feisty on us, as now we have only 6 laps to go in this race, and Hamilton makes the move around the outside coming into Rascasse, but he can't make the move stick. We were just hugging that apex on the inside there, pretty much parking the bus like we did in Spain. But hopefully this time Monaco is a bit more favourable for us for defensive driving. And now cutting to lap 75, and we have Pastor Maldonado, who's beached it in the wall there, and that may cause a safety car late on in this race. I'm hoping for a safety car, to be honest, and the entire field there is getting held up massively by that safety car, or that local yellow flag, and a few leaders actually got tangled up in that little incident there. Lewis Hamilton, Nico Rosberg, Fernando Alonso all got tangled up with Pastor Maldonado on the last lap, and now Perez and a few more others have now gone into the wall with Pastor, and that's now bought me a little bit more time compared to the rest of the field. We now have Lewis Hamilton, who's finally got himself back up into second place after pitting, but Sebastian Vettel barges us out of the way coming into Rascasse. Massa now unlaps himself as well, so that's 2 positions we don't really need to care about, to be honest. But Nico Hülkenberg is right behind us as well, and a lap down, so he can get past us, and that's really no problems there. I'm just going to brake early coming into turn 1. It is now the last lap, so things are well and truly getting serious here, as Nico Hülkenberg tried to get past, but he just let us back through again, which is a bit weird. But now we're just understeering. We've got no grip on the tyres. I was trying not to turn too much, as I was going to lose the back end like I have now, as Nico Hülkenberg barges us out of the way, and now he's got himself back on the lead lap, I think. But it's now the last lap for us, so he's pretty much going to get his lap back. But either way, we've got Lewis Hamilton right behind Perez there, so I can't afford to muck around too much, as one mistake and I will be conceding this lead of the race on the very last lap, and I really don't want that. But coming through to the Novo chicane, and Pastor Maldonado has now cleared himself. I think he might have retired from the race there, so unfortunately we won't be able to rely on Pastor to hold up the leaders again, so we're going to have to do this one on our own now as we come through the swimming pool section for the final time in this race. We just need to make sure we can get a nice clean exit off these slow corners. This is where we lose all of our time as we hug the apex, park the bus through Rascasse for the final time, and now sizing up the final corner. Let's get a nice smooth exit and use up the rest of our curves. And yes, on absolutely dead tyres, we have won the Monaco Grand Prix. So there we have it. The Monaco Grand Prix has been done and won. Somehow we managed to stretch out dead tyres for at least 10, maybe 15 laps, despite that massive train behind us, with Lewis Hamilton finishing in second, Mark Webber third, Sebastian Vettel getting a penalty for unlapping himself, and then there was that absolute calamity with Pastor Maldonado taking out half the field after he had already crashed. No safety car somehow, but in the end we managed to win the race, and that is a crucial race for our championship. And there we go, we've moved up into second place in between Lewis Hamilton and Fernando Alonso. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, then leave a like. I'd really appreciate that for this awesome race, and hopefully we can continue this run of form into the rest of the championship. In the Constructors, Force India have now moved up into 6th place, but the battle for 2nd is well and truly on. It is so close from 2nd down to 7th, and I honestly don't know where everyone else is going to finish, but that's been the Monaco Grand Prix. Until my next video, guys, I'll see you next time.